Good morning, dear viewer. It's a pleasure to have your company this lovely Monday. We do apologize for coming to you a little late. It was supposed to be at 10 sharp. Good to know we're having your company as we continue to celebrate the women in business, the women in their various sectors as they top up to the economy and inspire those around them, impact the communities where they live, and pave way for the young generation. My name is Sandra Kahunde. This is what we do as a national broadcaster every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from the 10 a.m. up until 11. Well, this morning we're talking fashion for someone out there, a young one. You're like, yes, if I place my best foot forward, I think fashion will do for me. The ladies in studio with me are here to inspire you, and as they'll be telling us their journeys, I'm sure by the end of it all you have found your best foot forward, and you'll definitely know that you live a life of purpose. This morning I am joined by Belinda Regina. She has a very beautiful name. She'll be the one to pronounce it. She's a fashion designer, and also this morning, we're having Phoebe Mugisha. She's a fashion bokori. I hope I have it right. They're here to inspire us this morning. Thank you, ladies, for making time. I'll start at the extreme end. Mugisha, Phoebe, how is your morning?
Good morning, Sandra. My morning is very beautiful and rainy. First of all, I'm excited to be here. It's such a great opportunity for me. I'm happy to be here with you this morning.
Amazing. Did I say stuff right? Fashion bokori?
Oh, I'm a fashion designer. Bokori is the name of my brand. Yes.
So we shall be getting to know the feeling that comes with the word bokori. The fact that it sounds home, it sounds African.
Yes,
That's the beauty about it. Belinda has a beautiful name. Please pronounce it. Asayate.
Asayate.
What's the meaning?
Comfort.
Ah.
And the funny thing is I'm actually running a sleepwear brand that brings comfort.
Hey. Was that the driving force behind? Or is it
No,
coincidence?
I didn't even see that coming at any one point. So my story begins with I used to suffer from sleep deprivation, and that was because I was wearing uncomfortable clothes to bed. I used to wear baggy t-shirts and stuff like that. So I would wake up in the morning feeling tacky, my eyes were tired, I would be cranky the whole day, and it never occurred to me that I was actually not sleeping well because of what I wore to bed. So when I did research around sleep and focused a lot on what would feel great to wear to bed, I figured, you know what, one, I need to create a job for myself. At the time I had been in between jobs. I had lost my job and then I needed to create a job for myself. But also I needed to come from a place where I felt I could relate to the problem I was trying to solve. So I launched out and began a sleepwear brand, and that was during the 2020 lockdown, and we've never looked back ever since.
I am sure most of us end up making such mistakes, by the way, heading to bed, especially when you feel like, the drizzles are coming.
You just wear anything you can find and just dive in, not knowing the impact it's going to have. You're going to probably wake up in the middle of the night to drink water to hydrate because it's hot, or you're going to wake up with lines on the body because you are finding a spot. That process of you trying to find a comfortable spot in the bed means you're waking up, so you're not getting like the full 8 hours of sleep you need to be getting. So people our age, people between 24 to about 65 need to be sleeping for 7 to 9 hours a night. And if you're getting less of that, or even more of that, then it's not healthy.
Yes, very true. More of that. 7 to 9 hours, but the others who go for more of that. Anyways, just moving back to Phoebe, what could have paved your way into fashion itself? Did you have role models? Or you had that inner still voice in you and you're like, this is me?
What inspired me to join fashion is passion. I think I was born to do this because professionally I'm trained as an accountant. But along the way, I was doing accounting, I was working as an accountant, but also doing the fashion business as a side hustle. Since childhood, I always wanted to do things with my hands. In my Essex vacation, that's when I really got into it, started making jewelry, small scale, and I would sell the jewelry and make money. eventually I landed on a sewing machine, and then my passion was just ignited. I've been in the fashion industry for 5 years now. It's really a passion project. It's a passion baby for me. Yeah. And
Wow.
to talk briefly about my journey, it has not been easy. But when you're passionate about something and you decide to follow your dream, it is one step at a time. One thing leads into another, one thing leads into the next. Initially, I was an accountant and eventually ended up going to fashion school. It was pivoting my career. It was not easy, but because I had a support system, friends and family that believed in my dream, because it was so clear to them that what I was doing, I was passionate about, here I am today, a fashion designer. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you can't look back or think about accounts and books?
Oh no, I can't
No.
look back. I'm already...
You're blessed, right?
Yes, I am.
Amazing. Belinda, I'd love to hear your story.
So I also have a similar background. I actually did procurement and logistics, and got the degree, practiced my profession from 20, because I graduated in 2018, and then I practiced it in 2019 up to the early 2020 when my job came to an end, and then I was back on the streets and trying to figure out what next, you know, making from earning a very huge salary to going back to not having money. And that was a really tough time for me, honestly. One, I needed to make a transition. I was 24, you know, 24 years is a very early age to be experiencing some things, and I know some people have had it worse, so I honestly need to be grateful. But yeah, it was a real shock for me. I went through depression, and I had to deal with a lot of anxiety, and of course I applied to so many organizations to try and recruit me, and many of them said no. Others just couldn't reply. Eventually I threw in the towel. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually figure this thing out. I'm going to go out and create a job for myself, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to be the best at it. So when I started, by the time I made the decision I'm starting a business, I'd closed my eyes on every other thing. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be 150% invested in it. So I did all the research there was about sleep, starting a business, investing in the, going into the fashion business, because my background was procurement and logistics, and we don't really, you know, it's like a huge stretch from what you've been studying in school. So yeah, I did every research there was. All I had was like A1 paper and a marker in my bedroom, and I wrote a business plan, made a mood board for all the pajamas I wanted to create, and then I made a profile for the customers I wanted to serve, the business, just about everything. Remember when we did a class on business model, the business model canvas and value propositions? Phoebe and I actually attended a training together under the Bold Women Fellowship, and that's how we met. And yeah, that was a great experience. So things like that, I planned the business out even before I could start. And eventually when the lockdown was eased, I took a loan from my aunt, $200, and I started. I made every mistake there was under the sun, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like buying, yes, even after the research, believe me, even after the research, what was on ground was completely different. And then I had to navigate how to, because I ended up spending all the money on all the wrong things. We hadn't even gotten a single order by the time
was
the
it
money
excitement?
Was done.
Or you were like, finally I'm having an investment?
Ignorance. In every aspect, because I didn't know what I was doing. But then there was something in me that told me I had no option. And you know, when you don't have an option, you keep going regardless. So even when I made the mistakes of purchasing the wrong things, at one point the tailor I was working with forgot fabric on the taxi, I remember it was borrowed money, and my aunt was like, when are you paying back the money, and things like that. But yeah, I kept going. I told my friends about the new venture because they had seen me on the professional side. But I was like, you know what, guys? I'm starting a business and I'm going to make pajamas. And my friends were my first clients. My mentors were also my first clients. They bought, and eventually I kept on building on that. Like whenever people would buy, I reinvest the money in the business, and that's how we were able to scale. And our big break came in 2021. So there were months where we could not even get a sale, like a single sale. And our big break came
But you
in.
have to dress right.
And then you have to dress right, look good, and like just be
You're like, yes,
present.
things are okay.
Things are okay. Like, guys, I've got this, you know? Because honestly, at some point you have no choice. You just have to show up and like be the best version of yourself, regardless of what you're going through. Because the wild one doesn't owe you anything. You owe it to yourself to show up in
You
your
don't have
best
to
version.
prove anything to
And
anyone.
you don't have to prove, no,
And as long as you are comfortable
Yes.
and you feel well placed.
Yes, yes. And I feel like I didn't feel this level of freedom for a long time. Even when I was working, I just felt like I'm working so hard. But then the return, like, believe me, the salary was amazing. I lived a happy life. But I just wasn't.
You were able to pay yourself.
I was able to go out for movies, have a great meal, do great shopping every month. And
By
that
the
was my
time-
way of feeling the void of I'm working hard, but I'm not happy.
I'm not happy.
That was my way of feeling that.
Much as I'm the CEO, I'm not happy.
No. Then when I was
You're thinking
working,
about the loan and all the pressure.
no, that time when I was working, when I was under
Employment.
employment, that void was just not getting filled because every month I would spend like 500,000 on shopping. A 24-year-old who is balling at that age, a lot of people my age weren't even getting that much money, you know. So, but that was just shopping and like going out for fancy meals, and I wasn't happy. But when I got to a place where I'm now creating these products, running my own business, even when I didn't make a sale, I wasn't bothered. Like I was broke, but
You had to swallow.
but happy, like broke but happy, you know.
You do different things.
Yes.
Yes. So
All it's related to fashion.
yes.
When we look at the fashion in terms of Uganda, let me just bring it back home. What are some of those trends that you see that will impact the industry itself? Because you're all designers, but you're doing different things.
Yes.
I think one thing that is going to impact the industry of Uganda is the recent announcement of banning second-hand clothes. Right now, Africa is like a dumping site for used clothes. Most of the people in the country are wearing second-hand clothes. So the ban on that importation of used clothing is going to have a great impact on the fashion industry. Many designers that are currently struggling to be identified by the communities are going to be seen because people are going to have no choice but come to us to make for them clothes, and clothing lines that have ready-to-wear clothes are going to be able to make great strides during this time. Can you imagine the, I don't know, the special feeling you get when you know that this cloth is mine, I'm the first user, it has not been worn by someone before. I've seen videos on YouTube where people pick clothes from dumpsters, and these are the things that they are sending to Africa, and people are buying them and wearing these clothes
Expensively.
expensively, and they are not even good quality. So this ban on second-hand clothes is going to make a big change in the fashion industry. I think another thing that is going to greatly improve the textile industry in Uganda right now is really small. On top of my head, I can only think of two manufacturers, that is Fine Spinners and Texfad, who are all mainly dealing in cotton products. Banning the importation of second-hand clothes is going to push the textile industry as well. If investors can invest in the textile industry in Uganda, I think the fashion industry will be changed forever.
Oh, good stuff. Well, Belinda, what would your take be, your thoughts? The way Phoebe has explained, we need to be optimistic with the coming seasons. What is your take?
I honestly can maybe just build off what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 70% of what we have on the market in terms of trade is influenced by fashion. And if we have more consumption of locally made products, that means there's like a spiral effect all across the, you know, the value chain, from the people who are manufacturing the cotton to us who are now making finished products, ready to wear outfits, to the tailors who make them, the people who are doing the logistics. We're going to be able to create several jobs across the value chain. I also feel technology is going to play a huge role in the fashion industry. A lot of business is being done online from social media. We have TikTok, we have Instagram. I was about to tell you our big break actually came in 2021 through Instagram. We sold 50 units in a single day. And that's how we blow up, and we're able to now be able to have a physical location. But you can imagine that was 2021. 2023, we are thinking mass production, more technology, more apps, more user experiences that people can virtually see a product on their phone and decide whether they're buying it or not based off, you know, technologies like VR and so many experiences. So yeah, it's exciting. So many jobs are going to be created, but also I think it's the time for us to, as Ugandans, embrace Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. Not just say it, but genuinely go out and support local businesses. Yes, like see a local business like Bukori, Bell Deluxe. We have pajamas being made here in Uganda. Could you imagine that 10 years ago? And as a pioneer business making sleepwear, we are making products that are designed for a Ugandan woman, the African weather, you know.
Originally?
Yes.
From here?
Yes, made here. So we need to embrace products like that.
Well, in most cases, when it comes to fashion, or maybe when I wake up, I either look at the weather or maybe depending on the mood on how I'm feeling. So fashion to someone out there will be like me, waking up and is it raining? It's not raining. How do I get dressed and something like that? It's a form of self-expression. What will really put you out there to your comfort, like you love the word comfort.
Yes.
How would you inspire someone or encourage someone out there to really tap and find their uniqueness or a unique style and embrace what you're producing?
For starters, I am very passionate about representing Africa and my country as a Ugandan. So when I'm deciding on what to wear, is it representative of who I am as an African woman? Is it representative of who I am as a Christian woman? There are certain values that guide you when you're choosing what to wear. For example, today, right now, if you were to dress up, you would think of the weather. It is raining. What can I wear in this weather? That is how you decide what you should wear.
The smartness has no weather.
You have to think about the weather. You have to. That's what they say, but you have to think about the weather. The company I mentioned, Texford, that is making cotton fabrics here in Uganda, has some really warm ponchos. They call them ponchos. I don't know. You do know what those are?
I was trying to think of that other language when it comes to fashion.
Yes. So the ponchos are like big scarves that are also like sweaters. So in weather like this, that is something you would consider wearing. Yes.
Well, much as they say smartness knows no weather, at the end of the day you might come out looking at the weather and then it later gets sunny. For 4 hours down the road you're like, I am stuck with all this.
Yes.
What do I do?
Yes. You have to have a functional wardrobe. You have to have a functional wardrobe, and you also consider the occasion you're going to, the event. There is work clothes, there is party clothes, there is bridal clothes, formal clothes. So you decide depending on the function, the weather, your values as a person. That's what guides you when you're deciding on what to wear. Yeah.
Okay, Belinda, what do you think?
To
convince someone who has walked to your store. I mean, this will definitely work for you. You'll stand out and shine. You'll be unique, you know?
Okay. Mainly for me, it depends on the occasion. If I'm going to have a meeting and I know I'm going to maybe pitch, wear a suit or something that feels comfortable but also speaks power. If I'm going out on a date, of course I'm going to wear something that is, you know, cute, but also comfortable and you know, feels young and feminine. And so the activities I'm involved in typically, and best of what I want to feel, but also represent, like let the other person see about me, influence what I wear a lot. So
and you'd love to add on?
Yes,
feel free.
Sure, I would like to add on to that. There are people who know the value of custom-made clothes. A person like that who likes to have their clothes made specifically for them, when you're deciding on what clothes to wear, you will choose to work with a designer. For example, me, you will choose to come to a brand like Bukori, and when I'm dressing a person, one of the things I like to pay attention to is their insecurities and the things that they like to emphasize about themselves. I will use an example. I've dressed so many women, and I've realized that most women are insecure about their tummies and their arms. So when you work with a custom fashion designer, these are things that you're going to talk to her about. My clients will tell me, oh, I'm not really comfortable with my stomach being out there. So in that case, I know as a fashion designer that I should pay attention to how I work around her waist. If someone is insecure about her arms, you make sure you make for them clothing that covers the arms. Being a fashion designer, you really have to listen to your client. You have to understand them. And that is one of our greatest strengths at Bukori. We really listen to our clients. We emphasize the parts of themselves that they want to highlight and help them conceal their insecurities, to help them feel confident, to help them feel heard. It is not good as a designer to impose a fashion on a client, maybe because you feel like it's something that's trending. That's what everyone is doing.
Yes, and then you just copy on.
Yeah, you listen to the client, and that is what we do as a fashion brand.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sustainability itself is a growing concern when it comes to fashion itself. What do you incorporate, or what you practice that is eco-friendly when it comes to your work?
So the fabric you choose to use, first of all, is it organic? Well, right now, I would say 80% of the fabric on the market, or even 90%, is not organic. Most of it is synthetic. People no longer wear cotton that much. People no longer wear linen that much. So when you want to have a sustainable brand, these are things that you think about when you're choosing your fabrics. I had a fashion show early this year in March, and 90% of the clothes I showcased in Uganda, spinned by fine spinners, and the fabrics were hand woven by Texfad, a small textile company here in Uganda. That fabric is 100% biodegradable because it is cotton. So if you want to have a sustainable brand, that is something you put in mind. Another thing about the fashion industry is we have a lot of waste. How do you dispose your waste? There are so many scraps that you have when you're making garments. We do not dispose them anyhow. We try to reuse them and make smaller items that can be bought and used by our clients, like accessories for the hair, maybe a hairband, a scrunchie for holding your hair back, tote bags, and things like that. That is how you make sure that you're sustainable. You have to be cautious. You have to have these ethics in the back of your mind. Where am I throwing my my scrap fabrics? Am I just dumping them and not caring about the environment? Where am I getting my fabric from? Me deciding to work with a company that is making biodegradable cotton fabric is me being cautious about the environment. I wish the textile industry in Uganda would grow, and I wish the government would invest in companies like that to produce on large scale and have more people using biodegradable fabric for their clothes.
Oh, there's really a lot to learn
There is.
for today's episode.
Yes, there is.
If you just joined us, you're most welcome. We're celebrating the women. Today, our topic of discussion being fashion, and Belinda is right here and Phoebe, they have lots to share out. We're looking at fashion, what they incorporate that really looks at the eco-friendliness when it comes to their work. Would you love to add on?
Yeah, so as a brand, when we started out, we decided we're going to work with silk. So silk, as you know, it is very organic. It comes from a silkworm. And we knew if we were going to develop a product, one, it had to be sustainable. You know, it had to have a long shelf life, but also be produced ethically. So 3 years down the road, most of the clients who have bought our product still have the same product and it's still intact. And I think that's a key aspect. Fast fashion always leans towards how fast can we get the products off the shelf and get the customers coming back the next month. And as a brand, we decided we're going to lean into a fabric that is, 1, organic, and 2, people are going to have it for a long time. So you buy your pajamas in 2020, you'll still have them in 2023, 2024, and that's a really important aspect for us. Even the dyes are still intact, the threads are still intact, which is important. But also, as Phoebe said, coming up with ways of managing the waste, because the fashion industry has a lot of waste, and most of it ends up in dumpsters, in water, which is not healthy. Even the dyes that are used for making, you know, different prints, we need to be conscious as fashion designers or people working in the fashion industry to make sure we are using dyes that are organic but also not harmful to the soil, because it will end up in our food chain, but also the water, because eventually we're going to drink this water, and that's how communities end up with cancers and, you know, all these diseases. So yeah, coming up with tiny aspects, like maybe I've seen a brand that uses waste to make dustbins. Like they're really cute.
Like there has to be a system of recycling?
Yes, very important. And just be creative with it, you know. It just doesn't have to be restricted to a particular product. But when you see, you could even do patchwork as a brand, you know, and produce really amazing pieces that people will appreciate. Anybody that knows sustainable fashion and is conscious about the environment, which a lot of the people, millennials and Gen Zs, are really leaning to, who are the target market now, you know. If you're a brand and you're focusing on that, for sure, there's going to be a market for you.
Are you able to highlight any memorable event or something that really stood out for you in your career when it comes to fashion that has helped to shape you and give you a different, maybe, perspective of the career that you're in?
Yeah, sure.
And you talked about you organizing, what did you call it?
I participated in a fashion show.
Fashion show,
Yes,
that is
yes.
in March.
Yes, in March. The highlight for me during that fashion show was seeing the shift in the energy of the models when they put on the clothes that our brand had made. Like I said, most of the fabric I used was locally made fabric. So there's this one particular piece that I made, and it was a poncho and a trouser, and the model was female. I gave her a walking stick, you know, like the chiefs, the African village chiefs. I gave her a walking stick. I kid you not, when she was on a runway, she looked like a boss. She had a walking stick, she was confident, and the moment she walked out, everyone was clapping for her because you could just feel the energy that was in her body while she was wearing the clothing that was made. It was amazing. It gave me the feeling of, if I can make every woman feel like this, if I can make every woman feel like they have the power to, you know, control the energy in the room, that feeling just made me realize the power I hold as a fashion designer to make a woman feel like she is the boss, like she is the baddest person.
That's good.
Any highlights, memorable events?
2021, when we hit that milestone of 50 units in a single day. I told you there were months we used not to have orders, you know. And out of the blue, as a young business, 1 year in, making 50 sales on Instagram in a single day, that was a huge milestone. It came with a lot of pressure, of course, having to fulfill the orders and things like that. But that was a huge milestone, great transition, and I'm really grateful for that, for sure.
Well, amazing work. Still talking fashion here with the ladies. There's a way fashion shapes individuals in society. And earlier on you talked about the confidence, if you're comfortable in what you're putting on, there's a way it shapes a person out as an individual. For someone out there what's to get into this industry, what advice would you share with them? Because I know you had to do the research.
Yes, of course.
Course from accounts and then get to this field.
Yes.
Yes.
The advice I would give a person that wants to join this industry is build a hard skin. Build a hard skin, because there are people out there who are going to be telling you, oh, there are so many fashion designers in the industry, or why are you leaving employment to do this? If you have the passion, do not listen to the naysayers. Go full speed for it. Be ready to face challenges. It's not easy, but the truth is there is space for everyone at the top. And like they say, we rise by lifting others. I have been inspired by 2 fashion designers in the country so far, Fatuma Asha and Claire Asimwe of Subantu. They have believed in me. A person would look at other designers as competition, but the truth is they are there to help you. Look for mentors. Look for the kind of designers that do the same work that you would like to do. Make friends with them, build meaningful relationships with them, and believe me, they will hold your hand and help you up. She mentioned the training that we are in together with the Bold Woman cohort. These are fashion retailers, one of the biggest fashion retailers that is for women and by women. They have a whole training every year for young ladies in fashion and interior design, in the interior designing industry. People are out there willing to support and help young ladies that want to pursue a career in this industry, but you have to have the passion, you have to have the willingness to pursue it relentlessly.
Well, Belinda, for someone else who wants to break into the industry and be just like you, how can they do it?
They definitely have to be willing to work hard. I just have to add what Phoebe said. You have to work really hard, be focused, build the right relationships, and keep going, have a bigger picture. Because people are going to tell you just about anything they feel, they'll project. And but only you know the vision, you know what you want to achieve, and once you know that, then you just have to work hard every day, show up every day regardless whether it's raining or it's sunny. Just show up and be the best, and then yeah, be proud of what you do. You're building something. Even as a Ugandan out there, you're building a brand, especially if you're focusing on building a Made in Uganda brand. Be as proactive at and be determined to change the narrative. A lot of people, when they hear Made in Uganda, are a bit skeptical and think negatively about the Made in Uganda brand. But even brands that as big as Made in Germany began previously. Made in Germany was meant it was a bad brand. It was a poor brand, yes. So they had to work their way into becoming a global brand that is known for high quality products. We are also getting there as a Made in Uganda brand. So we need to work together. As Phoebe said, we need to work together, know each other, collaborate, because collaboration is better than competition, to be honest. And create more opportunities for young designers, but also people that are in places and positions where they can influence industry matters like policy, you know, things around taxation, accessing financing, penetrating new markets. Need to be proactive. It's not enough for them to say, we have a project we are running for young people between 24 and 35, and they're not doing much to help us, you know, they're not listening to ask, where are the problems? You're probably struggling as a business to legalize, but that is because you have to go to 1,000 different offices to be able to get one paper And as a business owner, you're deciding, should I waste the next 6 months running around to get a stamp from URSB, or should I focus that energy on making my next sale? Because at the end of the month, the landlord will still need money. You'll still need to pay expenses. So people doing policy, you know, regulators of policies, please listen to us. We want to legalize our businesses. We have businesses on Instagram that are making a lot of money, which we know you want. But if you're making it difficult for us to legalize, then we shall keeping our money. And maybe that's a market that you need to really reconsider and tap into. But also when you're having conversations about expanding into new markets. The other day I was watching a documentary, and a lot of the big brands like KFC, IKEA, H&M, Zara, all pulled out of Russia. And Russia has a population of 100 million plus people. So imagine that market no longer has H&M, it doesn't have IKEA. What can we do as African countries, as a country, as Uganda, what can we do to tap into that big market? Already we have relationships there. How do we become brands, major brands that side,
that can stand out,
that can stand out and make, yes, and make products for these markets.
Because we have the talent is right here. We have the young people out there. Much as they blow, we are supporting them, like you put it, and you can't find the support. When it comes to fashion, in history itself, it's both reflecting and also with the societal change. How it impacts the societies that we do live in. How do you see fashion itself evolving the future? Earlier on you put it, you need to think about the values.
Yes,
as it shows your garments.
Yes. In future, I see fashion evolving to be more of a form of expression. Honestly speaking, right now in Uganda, most of the people are just following trends, just wearing the trending clothes, which are from fast fashion, most likely from China, being brought here. I see people embracing themselves more, wanting to express themselves through how they dress and showing up as who you really are. Currently, I've seen so many people embracing the African style, wearing more African print, wearing more Ankara, wearing clothes that have been made locally. And I see us selling this to the Western world instead of us now bringing in fast fashion from them. I see us making a move and trying to make them embrace our style as Africans. I've seen a few actors here and there wearing African wear, wearing African print clothing. I've seen movies like Wakanda impacting the way people dress in the US and making the African people out there proud of their culture. And dressing, fashion is one way of expressing who you are. So I see people embracing more of who they are in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Belinda, what are some of those designers that stood out for you? Maybe the icons, like previously you've been explaining how we can tap into that other market. Yes. What are some of those designers that stood out for you? Maybe the icons that helped shape you, or maybe have helped you in your path to stand out unique as well?
Okay, so some of the brands that I really look at, and even individual fashionpreneurs, one of them is Emma Grede. She is the co-founder of Good American, but also Skims. She's black, half American, but being a woman, navigating, and she's currently worth $360 million US. A black female in America owning that much stake in one of the biggest brands, you know. Skims is currently worth $4 billion US, and Good American is worth over $1 billion US. So having women like that stepping up and saying, you know what, I'm going to change the narrative. I'm going to create more opportunities. So she has, you know, Shark Tank? She's one of the, it's a competition where investors go, sit down, you come as a business owner, you pitch. So she was the first female black I have to emphasize female and black.
I know.
It's difficult to enter spaces like these. So when we see other women step up and say, you know what, I'm going to create an amazing product, and I'm going to bring along other young designers and create space for them to be able to sell their products. So she has an initiative where she talks to big brands like Nordstrom and all the major brands and tells them, please ensure there's a space for a young black designer to be able to showcase their products. And you know what that can do? Let me break it down to Uganda. So imagine there's a person who goes to LC Waikiki or MRP and tells them, there's a Bukori, there's a Belle Deluxe, we want you to create space for them in your store. MRP and LC Waikiki are all across Africa. That means your products will showcase in all the different stores across Africa. You'll be creating several jobs across the value chain. You'll be putting Made in Uganda in different locations at the same time. And there's no easier way for us to do that, to grow as an economy, you know. We need to have people in government stepping up and saying, what do the young people need? How do we create opportunities for them in spaces like LC Waikiki, MRP, and all these big brands that have franchises all across Africa?
In other words, you need to advocate for representation,
more markets,
and diversity when it comes to the fashion industry itself. Because I mean, diversity and inclusivity come hand in the recent years. What would your take be as she talks about you advocating for more representing to be represented?
My take, I'll just supplement on what she said. If I had a whole line given to me in the LC Waikiki shop at Acacia or at Arena Mall, my goodness, the change that would make for my brand. But also imagine if the government supported the small brands like myself to make it big, first of all, across the country. And now we have the East African community. Imagine Bukori being represented in Tanzania, in Kenya and Uganda. I can only do this if there are policies in place to make it easier for me. That honestly.
That's true.
Well, on the platform here, we inspire the women, and especially embracing ICT as a tool. How has it helped you grow your business when it comes to socials, and most definitely you letting the viewer get to know how they can get your product?
Okay, so ICT right now, I'll focus on social media. Being a creative, you have to be out there. As a fashion designer, people can only see me on my Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and know that there is a designer out there called Bukori, and this is what she does. Most creatives are introverts. They don't want to be out there. If you are creative, use social media. You do not have to put your face on your platforms. Use technology to post your work, talk about your art, let your work speak for itself. If you are an introvert, you have to put your work out there. And I've seen so many designers whose face we've never seen, but we know them from social media, from Instagram, from TikTok, for the lucky ones, from TV. So use technology to your advantage. Use it to research. First of all, there are platforms and apps like Pinterest. Use them to get inspiration. Use them to your own benefit. Use YouTube to learn more from the designers that teach on YouTube. Use that to learn more, because you have to keep learning. The world is evolving. The fashion world is it changes so fast. It's very versatile. So you have to keep learning. Use ICT to your advantage. Use it to communicate, to market. Use it to learn. Use it for research. And yeah. You'll see the difference.
Navigate. And navigate, get there. Bukori itself, what's the meaning of Bukori, and how can someone get your products?
So
Bukori is all over all the socials?
Yes, it is. Bukori is, it's a Rufumbira Kinyarwanda word. When I started working with my hands, when my family noticed I was working a lot with my hands, they often referred to me as Omunya Bukori, which means a skilled person, a craftsman. So I cut it short because I was sure many people would have a hard time pronouncing Omunya Bukori, and shortened it to Bukori. That's what the word Bukori means. If a person wants to reach me, they can check out my Instagram page, Bukori_1. They can check my Facebook, Bukori. They can also come to my physical store, Luwum Street, MM Plaza.
MM Plaza.
Yes.
Luwum Street, MM Plaza, Bukori. Sounds beautiful, so unique.
Thank you.
African. Well, Belinda, how can someone get to you, the fact that you're embracing ICT itself and you're all over the socials, navigating all through, maybe how it has shaped you and how it has really helped put your brand out there. Please share with the viewer and also get them getting to know how they can find you.
Okay, so from the beginning, we didn't have a store. I told you I began working from my bedroom. So all I had was my phone and the idea of a business. So once we had a physical product, I used to take pictures with my phone and then post on Instagram. And one way I was able to grow on Instagram was directly messaging people. We eventually began running ads on Instagram and work with influencers to be able to grow. So, and honestly, I recommend social media as anybody who has a business or an idea or a product they're selling or a service. Social media is really the fastest way to grow and reach customers. So many people are online all the time, and I think that's the best way to communicate your brand, your values, and also create an experience for customers, create value for customers through your brand. So we are on Instagram as Belle Deluxe Sleepwear. We're also on TikTok. We are on LinkedIn as well. Facebook, not so much because of the ban, but we also have our website, www.belledeluxe.com. You'll be able to read our story and also shop directly through the website. And we also have a physical location now, a flagship store located at Motive, that is along Old Port Bell Road. You can be able to find our products. And we also have WhatsApp for people who prefer to just WhatsApp. It's 0701-585846. You'll be able to reach us. Just send a direct message or call, and we'll be able to deliver the sleepwear for you. Currently, our products are mainly sleepwear for women. So we have robes, we have dresses, we have vests and shorts. We are also making trousers now and crop tops. We're just creating amazing products for women to be able to embrace their OTM time, their rest time. You want to be able, after a long day, you want to be able to go home to something that reminds you of rest and self-care, and you feel like, okay, once I've rested, I can go back and be productive the next day. So that's what we are offering as a brand.
Okay. I was still noting the number 07.
0701-585846. You'll be able to reach us.
Well, I've come to realize that there's collaboration when it comes to fashion, and these guys are having it. They do collaborate, so you should, it's something that you should also pick on. Before we let you go, a few minutes at the top of the hour, something that you really want to share with the ladies that have been following the program, or maybe a viewer has been watching.
Oh, yes.
Before we let Phoebe Mugisha go.
Yes, please. The ladies out there watching, imagine the freedom you'd have if you're able to perform your roles as a woman and also be successful in business. The freedom that employment does not give you. Most women have a passion. You have a skill, probably you haven't identified. And for the women in employment, you probably want to do something with yourself and have your freedom, but you have second thoughts about it. Here is living proof that you can actually make it in business. If you are passionate about fashion, follow your passion. Don't let anything stop you. Let the people around you know what you do. Do not hide. Be out there. Let people see that you are good at something. And those who believe in you will support you. Most definitely they will. And there are other women doing what you dream about doing. So don't be afraid to reach out to those people that inspire you. Reach out to them. I'm sure they'll be willing to hold your hand and help you rise. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope it works for you. Please pack it as you enjoy this week and this day. Regina, something from you?
My advice would be, yeah, just step out. There's no perfect time, to be honest. And you just need to step out of the box and just do it. There are so many people who have done it already before you, so you're not going to be the first. You're not reinventing the wheel. But when you make the decision that, one, I'm not happy with my life, so something has to change. And you may not know exactly what you're going to do or what is in the path ahead of you, but making the decision that you're going to step out and start something is huge enough, and you should give yourself credit for that. And you've got this.
Wow. We're spreading love right here. We do appreciate you for spending time with us.
Thank you.
And making time to join us every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 10 a.m. up until 11 a.m. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank
At
you,
the extreme end, we're joined by Phoebe Mugisha of Okori Fashions. Wish you all the best. And just next to me, Belinda Regina. I can't still pronounce that other name.
Say it.
Comfort itself,
Yes.
and that's what she produces when it comes to products. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sandra.
too.
It's been a great episode having the ladies come through, and to you, our dear viewer who has been part of this wonderful conversation. My name is Sandra Kahunde, wishing you a beautiful day and a great week. God bless you.